Welcome back. It is still the conversation, and it is time for Team Lagos. And today we are discussing a very serious issue, breaking the silence around sexual and gender violence. You know, we really need to talk about this issue because the crime prevalent about this issue, it leads to people going into the correctional centers. You know, if you link it to what we discussed earlier on the show today. So we have a distinguished guest with us here in the studio who will be discussing, doing justice to this topic. So, Adebimpe, over to you.
Yes, before I introduce our guest, we have two beautiful ladies here with us with two beautiful names. Yes, I will stress it. Let's understand what we're dealing with first in Lagos State. So I'll give you the statistics. You know, in Lagos alone, as of 2023, Lagos reported 639 SGBV cases for adults and children, and it was broken down to 3,813 cases were reported for adults, while 2,576 cases were reported for children. And a further breakdown of the data showed that 90% of adult cases were female, while 10% were male. 54% of children cases were females, with males having 46% of reported cases for children. So this morning, as I told you earlier, we have two beautiful women here with us. We have Sarah Owoka. She is a domestic violence advocate.
You're
welcome. Sorry about that. We also have Pastor Olu Franklin. She's a counselor and therapist. And of course, we're talking about breaking the silence on sexual and gender violence. You're welcome.
It's a pleasure.
You're welcome. So let's begin. Let me start with domestic violence advocates. So when we talk about sexual violence and gender-based violence, what exactly are we talking about? We need to break it down, because if you are not aware of something, then you can say, oh, I did not know. Ignorance is not an excuse, you know, in front of the law. So let's really understand what we are talking about. Okay,
so first of all, I'd like to give like a clarification. Let us know the terms first, because that would help us going forward. Domestic gender-based violence is any kind of violence that is perpetrated against a person because of their gender. It could be physical, emotional, economic, and the likes, right? And this happens between men and women, but the occurrence, high prevalence is on the women, right? And we have, like the statistics you gave, but now giving it in the global, right? We have 1 in 3 women who have been sexually abused or physically abused by their partner or family. And while for Nigeria, for the girl child, we have 1 in 4 girls, right, that has been physically abused, that would be abused before they even clock the age 13. And for boys, we have 1 in 10 boys, right? So this shows to say that the prevalence of this social issue is high, right? Now, for sexual violence, according to the World Health Organization, recognizes it as any act of sexual violence or attempt of sexual violence, either in your comments, either in your gesture or advances, right? And it shows to capture all of the different forms of sexual violence, like harassment, rape, and the likes. And when it makes the person feel uncomfortable, that's sexual violence, you know? So that being said, just to ensure that we all understand where this arises from and where we want to take actions into.
Thank you.
We're talking about breaking the silence on this social vice or the social issue. Pastor Olu Franklin, counselor and therapist, for those who do not speak out, how do you tell, or what are the signs one should look out for, you know, in a person that has been abused. Especially
or is going
abused.
through,
or is going through it presently? Mostly you find out that as many of them that have been able to cancel without, it's not that they spoke out, but you just see that you notice that a child is just being unnecessarily moody. Then sometimes they are aggressive unnecessarily. So I tend to
But
be
what if they are they're normally aggressive? You know, there's some children who are just
aggressive in
aggressive,
nature.
yeah.
But being aggressive is one of the signs of a child is passing through what is finding difficult to to talk about. So what you are still supposed to do is to make such a child, give such a child an environment where you'll be able to speak out. Because I still tell people that silent is one of a kind of a fertile ground for anything to breed. So if they are able to speak out, is what we still help. But if they are not speaking out, you must create that platform for them to speak out. The platform, sometimes you just unnecessarily be friendly to these young people. There's a case I'm handling presently now, just 2 weeks ago, of a high person in question that you can't even imagine. And this child is just 13 years. And it's finding it difficult to talk. But I just discovered that this child, I went to the house to visit them. And I just told the mother, this child is not looking at herself. What is happening? So the mother said, you have started misbehaving. I said, no, he's more than that. So I tried to get close to the child. But I found that
you must have seen something for her, for you to come up.
Yes,
And the mother was not even aware.
Yeah.
The mother wasn't aware. So I just discovered that there's a way she's behaving. So I just scared. I said, oh, my baby, how are you? I've not been seeing you and all the rest. Then I said, how is your school? That place you are staying, how are you feeling and all the rest? So it became quiet. I said, are they taking care of you? And this was saying with spiritual people, in quotes. So I found out that the man in question is trying to abuse this girl. He said often a time when she's finished bathing, as it's coming out, that is when the man will just pump into their room.
Wow.
And that there was a day he was trying to do that. Okay, let's play as a father playing with all the children in the house and all that. That there's a way he touch and that he knows that. I said, maybe it's a mistake. I said, maybe it's a mistake. I said, Mom, it's not a mistake. That the way you taught us, I know that that is not a mistake. So I've taken it up. I went to the father. I told the father, I called the girl. The girl was able to open up. I didn't go through the mother this time around again.
Because of our emotional.
Because I know the mother will scream, that could be. And I'm going to take it up with the man. The said man, because the man said, I won't be able to approach this man. He's somebody I respect so much, and doing this to my daughter and all that. I said, but we have to speak out. Because who knows? I don't know how many children he has, how many girls, child or boy child he has been doing such a thing to. So I even went, and I went further, called the girl. The girl said he was lying down, and this man tried to lie on her. Though the girl was facing downward. That's so later I said, I didn't know you were there. I said, look at it, that it's everywhere. The place is not dark. So the girl must have been passing through. Then I asked the girl, when did this thing start? He said, it's almost 4 or 5 months now. That is from the look 4. And that is then she's not feeling herself again. It's like she's losing her self-confidence. He wants to air out, he doesn't know how to go about it. So the real thing is still how we must create a platform for every girl child or every boy child, whoever is, that is passing through any of this to speak out.
I have a follow-up to what the scenario you just gave us. Now that you know about what the girl is going through, what kind of support do you give her in order for her to feel normal around men again?
Okay. Like one of the things I was saying, I told her my experience. I told her that it's common, but what you should do, that whenever you see things like this and all, they speak out. Look for people you can confide.
Some girls are afraid
to talk.
Saying these things, especially to mothers. We've seen cases where, some mothers will say, shut up, why are you lying?
You're right, you are right. And of the truth, parents does that a lot. We try to shut people down when they are trying to, and that's why I normally say people, don't judge, be listening very well, with excitement and all the rest. So I talked to the girl. We are trying to relocate the girl of not staying in that environment again.
To leave that
because it's already affecting her educational life. Because I try to find out about her educational life and all this. So consequently, what I keep on telling people is that let's create a platform for parents to create a platform for children to be able to talk with them. To go into their world, enter their world. Whoever, maybe a child is staying with somebody, and let me tell you, the society at large, we have a lot to do. It's not only parents, society at large. And this will help us. You know, those days, it's not only one person that takes care of a child.
It takes a village.
It takes the whole village to take care of a child. When you see the child, you say, my daughter, you are looking moody. What is happening? You know, but I think we need to go back to when we see a girl child or a boy child as for the whole community. It's not just for that home, and create a platform. That platform of people being able to speak out. Because if the platform is not there, people will not speak out.
Okay, there's one other thing, an important part of this our discussion: sexual intimate partner violence. And then how can we help a victim? Especially, I think the women are on the receiving end, and you hear for the younger ones who are not married, your boyfriend is beating you. And you say, oh, he loves me, that's why he's correcting me. I made him do it. How do you help such a person? And for those that are married, they tend to stay and keep quiet because of their children. How do we seek help for them?
When you find out most of the ladies that are in that shoe, it didn't just start inside the marriage. It didn't just start inside the marriage. It's either they have been abused economically before, or they have been abused psychologically at home, where nobody believes in her. If such a child, right from home, nobody believes in you, you just feel that you are nobody. They just look at you, that who will marry you? All those things are already
Self-esteem.
Low self-esteem is already there. So when they now enter marriage, you now see a man that say you look good. So even that man is not saying anything, so nobody has ever told me I look good. This is the only man that told me I look good. That means I'm not good. This is the only person that accepts me that I'm good. Let me just stay. And they stay. And so it still bounce back that we just have to keep on making people to know that they are being loved. Parents has a lot to do. The society has a lot to do. Because that is the only way out. Just make people to, like we were sitting in the reception just now, just look at her. I said, no, just make this person to feel that she's important. If you make her to feel she's important, she make you to feel is important. So when other person is now using the habit of, because it makes you to feel important, to intimidate you,
Get at you.
You just know that I'm already important. A lot of people say this into me. So the society, let's help ourselves. Just look at somebody, because it's part of the thing God created in us. That this issue of somebody affirming you, there's something He creates in us. So we should build it in our various family, in our workplace, in the society at large, in our institution. Bullies start in the schools. And you see, and they go away with it right from school days. Just see a child being bullied here and there, and nobody is correcting it. So all those things have to really be put in place.
Sarah, I also want your response to sexual intimate partner violence.
Sorry, so when Pastor Olu was speaking, what came to my mind is identity, right? Many of these issues that stems from identity. When you battle with self-worth, with value, and this is not something that you just get in one day. It's an accumulation of your experiences from childhood, adolescence, and the likes, right? I wouldn't blame them because they don't know better. You know, the campaign that we do to ensure that people's voice, that you can speak up, most people hear it and they're like, I don't want to. Not because they cannot, but the battle is within. The battle is inside of them. And that is why I like it when people speak to their problem and not just a general problem. Because that gives them a safe place of, oh, you understand what I'm going through. You know where I am at this point. Because if someone is, for instance, boyfriend and a girlfriend, they've been together for, let's say, 2 years. This guy has been there for her, provides her needs. But beats her, that's just the sprinkle. But beats her, she's like, but he does this, he has been there. I cannot leave, where will I start from? All of those things, you know, worrying about something that can be changed, but you have already said in your mind that it can't be changed. It starts with the mind, right? You have to ensure that they have good self-identity, and that starts with introspection, loving themselves, right? That's where it starts from, self-love. You know, many people always say, I love myself. This is not the kind of love, love yourself and everybody goes to damn, no. But the self-love that promotes positivity, that makes you exude a very positive energy when you enter the room, and you don't look down on yourself. So I believe it all stems from identity, right? And yes, there are, you know, cases of the person has been sexually abused while they were young, you know, cases of, you know, being battered by their parents. All of these things are accumulation, like I said earlier, that makes one, you know, have this identity, false identity, that they are no good without that person that they're beating them.
Okay, Sarah, as an advocate of domestic violence, and of course you do deal with sexual violence also, advocacy, how much has advocacy, you know, impacted on people so far?
A lot. I can say a lot, especially in Lagos State, right? A lot. Because we have so many NGOs, so many hotlines, people that are doing great, great work. For instance, the Lagos, I can always refer to the Lagos State Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency. Why? Because I worked there. So I see the level of work that they put in for one person.
Yeah,
and
we.
Yes, it's true. We, right? So I see the level of work that they put in there to ensure that a child, a woman, you know, the boy child is being removed from the place of pain, the place of shame, right? And restored, revived, renewed into the society again, right? The advocacy cuts across different local communities, different local governments, ensuring that they don't just go to the urban area, they are also in the rural areas, you know, talking to market women, you know, going to schools, ensuring that they get the right education on gender-based violence, you know, and equipping them to stand up for themselves in situations like that. Yeah.
Do these women, okay, let's leave women for now, boys and men. When I reeled out the statistics, they are lower,
Yes.
you know,
10%.
Yeah, about 10%.
Yeah, 10%.
Yes. Most of these men, you said you worked with the agency here in Lagos State. Do many of them really come out to talk about these things, or you are the ones, or your agency, you know, will go out for them?
Yes, they do, but like you said, they are not many. For instance, maybe in a day you can see one man reports and several women report, or no man at all reports and several women report. So it's not because, I feel like it's not because they are not going through things. They are, but you know, in a patriarchal society, you have to be tough.
Yeah.
Yes,
You can show your
to be tough.
thickness.
So more often than not, they don't report. It's not
And when
put
they
on
do?
pen. And when they do, yes, we take justice. Men, I've experienced the case of a man being battered by his wife. And he reported, but he didn't want to get justice, like going to the law, right? What he did was I just want to leave the place and everything. My children, that's what he was concerned about. But yes, they do report, and we're not gender biased. We, as much as we want to ensure that even the women themselves who are on the high rate of this predicament, we also look towards the male.
But there are also cases of that for the women, when the law is taking its course and they say, he's the father of my children, he's my husband, please, I want him back. How do you help such women?
First of all,
Do you release the man back to her?
would you hold the man? No, now it has to, you can't do that, because there needs to be consent, like there needs to be agreement between both parties. And if the woman is saying that she wants, you can't forcefully remove somebody from a place that they feel is a safe place. If not, they will say that you are the enemy. So what you will do is to counsel, and you give it time. You give it time, because the truth is, everybody knows what is right, everybody knows what is wrong. There will be a time that everybody knows what is right and what is wrong. It depends on the level of boldness and audaciousness for the person to know that it is time. But if the person still wants to stay, why not? You don't purposeful involvement of yourself into that person's life until the person wants
ready.
Until the person is ready.
Pastor Olu, you said something earlier that serious issue here. You said something that parents have a role to play.
Seriously.
You know, and you mentioned something about bullying starts even right from the school, and some parents of the bully do not pay attention, you know, to this thing. So how do we begin to, you know, put these things in perspective? What are the roles? Where have parents lost it? How do we begin to get ourselves back on track?
Okay. I know that normally those days when a teacher scold a child, or maybe there's any beating, so parents go as far as to the school to go and find out. When it has to bully, I feel that bully should be more serious than a teacher scolding a child. Because mostly a teacher will definitely scold a child because the child misbehaves. But bully is not because the child misbehaves. The child just felt that you look so chopped up more than I do. So we should be able to, by the time parents keep on reporting incident of my child is being bullied, I've seen children crying that I don't want to go to that school again. So parents should come to that level. Don't just feel the child just want to change school. It's possible he's being bullied. So take time to find out. And when you're able to get such information, go back to school and tell the teacher. And by the time they keep on recording such issues, they should be part of the lecture, part of awareness of all the institutions, starting from the nursery, trying to say bullying is not allowed in this school, and they follow it up. That when we notice that your child keep on bullying people here, this place is not going to be comfortable for the child, no matter what you are paying. So if we can start from that level, it's going to really help. Because let me tell you, to be sincere, this bullying from school is doing a whole lot of things that people are here to
Even molestation is an act of bully.
Yeah, it is. Bullying is, yes, is equally a kind of violence. You may look at it that
When
way
they are not
because
untamed,
yes,
and the child grows
they
into
don't.
an
And
adult.
we need to,
Yes.
the schools need to pay attention to it very well. Then parents have to report it. Then I want to really beg parents, let's be more friendly with our children. Enter their world. Because all these things start from beginning. All this abuse, he was talking about, yes, there's nothing you can do when the woman said he's not going, and the man says he's not going. Sometimes ago, I was invited there. They were saying men, that there is a statistic that men face more violence. I was trying to tell them, no, it's not. Though I know they face, but they won't come out to say it because of this ego and all the rest. But all these things start
And
from...
violence really doesn't have to be
Physical.
This abuse really does not have to be physical.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's
Emotional.
It's emotion. In fact, the emotional one is even the one that you may be able to read more if you are a very observant parent. Just I'm saying it. You see a child unnecessarily moody, not being happy, not just being themselves. You know your child. I want to beg every parent, let's take time to know our children. Then they're one of maybe husband and wife and others not wanting to leave and stay. Just do the best you can do. Let them know there is more to them than marriage in quote.
There is more to marriage.
There is more to marriage,
to-
and there is more
to your life
to your life, to
than
you
marriage.
as a person than marriage.
Okay, I'll go to I'll go to Sarah. Or okay, let me stay with Pastor here. We know we're in trying times in Nigeria today, and God help us, Nigeria, it will get better.
We.
I haven't identified, economical issues or economic issues as one of the, causes of domestic violence. What are the other reasons, a man or a woman will raise their hand and hit their partners?
Well, when a man, just apart from the economic, maybe if a man is not feeling there, up there,
What do you mean up there?
up there mean I'm able to meet with all my needs, I'm able to be in charge of my house.
And he can't anymore.
And he can't anymore. Any little thing will stir up the other side of him. And that's why these days I used to tell women that try to be, don't just practice patience, please wear patience as cloth. Now,
So who would advise the man? I'm coming to you.
I would tell them just wear it as clothing. And you know our society, right from childhood, you still go back to childhood, I don't know why I'm just emphasizing childhood. We tend to focus on women, training women, telling women you should be patient, this is how you should do. Nobody focus on man. I have boys, I don't have girls in my house. So I try to tell them, enter the kitchen. There is no place in the Bible that actually spells it out. A woman must be in the kitchen, or in the Quran. It's in the kitchen that is made for her. I didn't see it to read there. Then I try to tell them that, okay, now we now look at it. These days, your own salary alone cannot take care of the house. So any way you can assist the woman, assist. But this training we are not giving to them from beginning for a lot of men. These patients we are talking about, nobody actually taught a man to be patient. It's only a woman. And that's why we always keep on talking to the women, even up to now. That patience they are teaching you, with this economic situation, this is the time to really wear patience as cloth.
Okay. So Sarah, I said I'll come to you. What do you do as an advocate again, when it comes to the men? Who talks to them? How do you talk to them?
Okay, so how do we
Engage the men.
engage the men to speak on a matter, or in what way? What do you mean by that?
She said, she speaks to women, they should be patient with their husbands and all. Who is speaking to the men? Or why is it also important to speak to the men?
Okay, why is it important to speak to the men? Like she said, we put so much focus on the female child and unintentionally neglects the male child, right? And it's saddening because most of the values and morals that they should have inculcated right from childhood, they start to see it as a new thing when they are growing. Like now, maybe for instance, you do not, because you are frustrated, you do not beat someone else, even if it's your fellow man, right? Sometimes when they are really, when you can't, you're looking for a way to just vent your anger. Your wife is not the punching bag. Your children are not the punching bag.
Nobody is the punching, should be the punching bag.
Yeah,
Go to the
nobody
gym.
is the
If you want to
punching
go
bag.
to something.
There are ways in which you can let out that frustration. There are ways in you can let out stress. Some people play video games. Like my dad, when he says, I want to relax, he plays video games. That's what he does. And that's the way he just releases. You need to look for an acceptable way to unvent, if there's a word like that. And going down to the nitty-gritty, going down to schools where these children, when the male child is being shaped to become a man in society, and start teaching them, educating them on the importance, the impact of gender-based violence, and why they should be the ones spearheading the change. There's a sense of feeling of identity and belongingness when you become the person that would raise up the torch and say, everyone follow me, this must stop. If it's coming from the person that is the perpetrator, there's this, everybody will identify, people that are doing it will identify with the person, and they would actually want to stop it. It would be so amazing if we can have a man doing this thing. Like standing up to spearhead the day and saying no to gender-based violence. It would be so amazing.
Okay, so this will lead me to
Right.
my next question for you. So what are the other big, let's talk about the biggest challenges that you face in your advocacy work.
Okay, you said one of them, knowing that there's a problem and speaking to someone about the problem, but they are like, no, I don't want to you know, there's this resistance that comes with fear, because you don't know what's next for you and you don't know how your life will be. So those are the challenges I face for the survivors, and they do not know, they are afraid of living because of one, stigma, fear, and, you know, people not just believing them. There's this stuff, I think it was a month ago on Instablog, I saw a lady that came out to talk about how she was sexually active with a dog, with objects and the likes. But before she started that pattern, she was abused severally by someone close to her, right? And she came out to voice out to the public. You know, they always say that the comment section is the best place to actually enjoy. You know, people were just saying all sorts of things, and I was like, why would they be blaming? Like, they spoke so much. They spoke in a derogatory way to the lady, and I'm sure she would have seen it. Do you know later on she took her life? Did you hear about the incident?
But later,
she said she
didn't die.
True. She
She didn't take her life. She just had to do that just to maybe reduce.
Okay, I didn't even get.
She didn't
I
die.
didn't get the other one that
did
she
not-
didn't die.
she didn't
But
die.
let's just see the effect of what that happened. Of what happened, rather.
What happened,
That effect. She had to just lie, cover up, because she wanted people to keep quiet.
Yeah.
And these are the cases that comes up most times, and the women are like, let me just stay. The
keep
devil
on
you
bearing
know is better than the devil you don't
angel
know.
you don't
The
know.
angel you know. Anyone.
you don't
But this time it's devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. So it's a lot of work, right? It's a lot of patience. You give them time. You don't, these things takes time, takes understanding, and takes empathy. You need to take time. Yeah.
Okay, there was a case, you know, while I was reading up for this topic about a physically challenged lady who her mother just noticed that her tummy was protruding, and you know, at the time they found out, it was the neighbor, you know, that had been sexually abusing her. So how can one support, you know, such people? Because this lady, she was non-verbal. She
Okay.
couldn't speak.
Okay.
She couldn't speak. So what provisions are there for, you know, people like that in breaking the silence?
How old is she?
Just 15.
She's 15. Oh, there's this agency called Chachayara Foundation. So they deal with child advocacy as
You're not
well.
allowed to talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, about
You
foundation.
don't talk about
We don't talk about
Yeah,
foundations. So
marketing.
sorry about that. Maybe that can be cut out of it. But yes, there are agencies, foundations that talk about or uphold advocacy for children.
For people
And
living
for
with
people
disability.
living
People living with
disability.
disabilities, yes. And they can report it, then they do counseling for the child. They ensure that there's proper therapy as well. If there's need to take the child away from the immediate environment into a shelter, that is also provided for them as well. So there are foundations, agencies that work
Take care of
takes care of the children.
takes care of that.
Yeah.
Before we go, Lagos State is a prominent state within Nigeria that operates with a broader legal framework. We have Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act of 2015, the Protection Against Domestic Violence Law of 2007, Criminal Law of Lagos State 2015, Child Rights Law of Lagos State 2015, the Domestic and Sexual Violence Agency Law of 2021, and of course the simplified version of relevant laws on SGBF in Lagos State 2022. Why, despite all this, why is this crime still prevalent in Lagos? Because the government is playing their part.
They're playing their part.
We can see.
When you measure them, how many of these hearts compared to our population? The hearts are there. But the first remain the ability to enforce the arts. How many local government do we have in Lagos State?
Yeah, 20 and 37 of
And look at the population of people that are being abused on a daily basis. It's not enough. The body to look after this is not enough. And this issue of people not speaking out and people not wanting to move. Yes, initially when the incident happened, you see somebody, just give them few days. You go back to the same person, you tell you,
just want to...
let's forget it.
Let's leave it for God.
Let's leave it for God. So how many will they be able to do? And such a parents that have such incident give birth to children that have such incident. They think keep on going. So it's not that these arts are there, but ability for the heart to be able, the body to be able to cover the large population that are passing through this violence is the issue. And we still have a lot to do. It's not only just for Lagos State or our government.
We people,
let's be
all
our brothers keeper.
Our brother's keeper.
Yeah.
Then this self-love, this ability to discover yourself, that I am somebody God created, that my benefit, the reason for my existence is not just for me, it's for somebody else. I am special. So the earlier we started from that, the better we'll be able to help the government. The government are trying. Let's be sincere. They are trying, because some years ago it wasn't like this. Like that girl will not speak out. Like somebody like me say, I want to go and meet that person, I won't be able to do that. But I now know that if you say no, I will call on her. I will go to internet and say one or two things. It's just that one of my daughter wanted to enter school. She's disabled. In one of her, I think, is it left, right hand, some of her hand. Very sympathetic case. And they went to JAMB office. They said because all our fingers, they are cut off, they are not there. So they said you will not be able to do JAMB. I didn't hear of it on time. So I paid for it. I said, go and enroll JAMB. He did it. When he got to Abeokuta, he was being denied and everything. We took it up. Today she's in school. The school called her back. The school called her and said, we are sorry. We don't know whoever is that representative that didn't allow you to do. Bring your former JAMB result, the one you got, that you couldn't get admission because of this space. We'll use that one for you.
Wow.
But it's because somebody spoke out. So we are getting there. We should continue
to speak out
and look out for
and look out and create a platform
embrace the
for people
culture
to speak
for
out.
speaking out,
Speaking
create
out,
a
yeah.
leveling ground for speaking out. Thank you very much, Pastor Olu Franklin, counselor and therapist, and Sarah Owoka, domestic domestic and violence advocate. Thank you so much for sharing your inputs on breaking the silence on sexual and gender violence. The conversation continues right after this break. Stay with us.